Imagine two people. They both have $10,000 sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing. One of them decides to leave it there. The other takes that same $10,000 and splits it evenly across five of the best dividend funds Fidelity has ever built. Fast forward 30 years, and the person who did nothing has roughly the same $10,000, maybe a little less after inflation eats away at the value. But the person who invested? They are sitting on a portfolio worth well over $200,000, and they are collecting over $400 a month in passive dividend income without ever selling a single share. That gap does not happen by accident. It happens because of compounding, because of dividend reinvestment, and because they chose the right funds. And today, we are going to break down exactly what those five Fidelity funds are, what makes each one special, and what your money actually looks like at the end of 10, 20, and 30 years if you start today. So let us meet our investor. Her name is Sarah. She is 35 years old, she has $10,000 she does not need for the next several decades, and she wants to build real passive income without spending hours every week watching the market. She wants her money to quietly work while she lives her life. Sound familiar? Sarah is going to split her $10,000 equally, $2,000 into each of the five funds we are about to cover. Each fund has a very specific job inside her portfolio, and together they form something that is greater than the sum of its parts. By the end of this video, you will understand not just what these funds are, but why the combination matters. Let us start with fund number one. This is the one that most people already know about, and for good reason, FDVV, the Fidelity High Dividend ETF. FDVV is what you get when you want a fund that pays you today, but also has serious long-term muscle. As of May 2026, FDVV carries a dividend yield of approximately 2.9%, which does not sound enormous on paper, but when you layer in the total return picture, this fund is one of the most impressive offerings in the entire dividend ETF universe. Over the past 3 years, FDVV has delivered an annualized total return of over 21%. Over the past 5 years, that figure sits at 13.5% annualized. And in the trailing 12 months through May 2026, the fund has returned 26.5%, including dividends. That is not a dividend fund limping along. That is a dividend fund with a full growth engine under the hood. FDVV holds about 112 companies, which is a fairly lean portfolio for a dividend ETF. It targets large and mid-cap stocks that are not only paying dividends today, but that are expected to continue paying and growing those dividends. The expense ratio comes in at just 0.15% per year. That means on a $2,000 investment, you are paying about $3.20 a year in fees, essentially nothing. Here is where a lot of people get surprised. When you look at the top holdings inside FDVV, you see names like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, and Broadcom. The fund includes companies with meaningful cash flows that are also growing their dividend payouts, which is why tech has a home here. About 26.7% of the fund is in information technology, 18.9% in financials, and 14.5% in consumer discretionary. Morningstar rates this fund highly, and analysts describe it as a fund that rides the line between income and price appreciation. For Sarah, FDVV is the core of her portfolio. It is her yield plus growth position. Sarah puts $2,000 into FDVV. At a 2.9% yield, she earns about $58 in the first year in dividends alone. Fund number two, FEQIX, the Fidelity Equity Income Fund. Fund number two is the Anchor. This is the fund in Sarah's portfolio that is specifically designed to lower her overall risk while still generating consistent income. FEQIX carries a 5-star Morningstar rating as of April 2026. That is the highest possible rating based on risk-adjusted returns compared to all funds in the same category. The fund has over $11 billion in assets under management, and it has been a quiet, consistent performer for years. Here are the numbers that matter. Over the past year, FEQIX has returned 18.9% total. Over 3 years, it has averaged 15.3% annually. Over 5 years, 12.5% per year. And with a dividend yield around 1.54%, this fund is not going to make you rich from income alone, but it will deliver consistently. What makes FEQIX so valuable inside Sarah's portfolio is its beta. A beta of 0.67 means this fund is significantly less volatile than the broader market. When the S&P 500 drops 10%, FEQIX has historically dropped far less. For a long-term investor, that matters enormously because it means Sarah is less likely to panic, less likely to sell at the wrong time, and more likely to stay invested through the inevitable downturns. When you look at the top holdings, the largest sector is financials at around 26% of the portfolio, followed by meaningful positions in healthcare and energy. It also holds a small number of convertible bonds and international stocks for additional diversification. The expense ratio for FEQIX sits at 0.52%. That is slightly higher than a pure index fund, but for a 5-star actively managed fund with a track record like this, it is more than reasonable. Sarah puts $2,000 into FEQIX. She earns about $30 a year in dividends from this position. But the real value here is stability and capital appreciation over decades. Fund number 3, FSDIX, the Fidelity Strategic Dividend and Income Fund. FSDIX is one of the most unique income vehicles Fidelity has ever built, and it has been quietly generating income since December of 2003. What makes FSDIX different from every other fund on this list is its structure. Instead of just buying dividend-paying stocks, the fund deliberately allocates across 4 completely different income-generating asset types. 50% of the fund goes into high dividend-yielding stocks, 20% goes into preferred stocks, 15% goes into real estate investment trusts, or REITs, and the final 15% goes into convertible securities. Why does this matter? Because each of those 4 asset classes responds differently to different economic conditions. When stocks struggle, preferred stocks and REITs can hold up better. When interest rates shift, convertibles can provide a buffer. This is engineered income diversification at a level that most retail investors never build on their own. The dividend yield on FSDIX is approximately 2.35%, and the expense ratio is 0.63%. The fund holds about $5.25 billion in assets. And according to Morningstar's April 2026 review, FSDIX benefits from highly skilled managers and a rigorous, repeatable investment process. Notable holdings include ExxonMobil, Procter & Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson. These are exactly the kinds of durable, cash-generating businesses you want anchoring an income portfolio. The 5-year annualized return for FSDIX comes in at 8.6%. That is lower than some of the other funds on this list. But remember, this fund is not designed to be the fastest car in the garage. It is designed to be the one that keeps running in every type of weather. Sarah puts $2,000 into FSDIX. She earns approximately $47 a year in dividends from this fund. Before we continue to the final 2 funds and show you exactly what happens to Sarah's money over 30 years, I just want to take a quick moment. If you are finding this breakdown valuable, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are trying to build smarter financial futures. All right, let us get back to it. Fund number 4, FIDI, the Fidelity International High Dividend ETF. Every portfolio that is built entirely on domestic investments has a hidden risk that most investors overlook: the risks associated with having everything tied to the performance of one country's economy. This fund solves that problem for Sarah's portfolio. FIDI launched in January of 2018, and it targets large and mid-cap dividend-paying companies from developed international markets, meaning countries like Japan, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Australia. These are not risky emerging markets. These are stable, established economies with blue-chip companies that have been paying generous dividends for decades. Here is what immediately stands out about FIDI. The dividend yield is approximately 3.74% as of May 2026. That is the highest yield of any fund on this list, and it is not a coincidence. International markets, particularly developed European and Asian markets, traditionally have higher payout ratios than their U.S. counterparts. European companies, for example, tend to return a much larger portion of profits to shareholders through dividends rather than reinvesting everything into buybacks. FIDI captures that income premium. The expense ratio for FIDI is just 0.18%, extremely competitive for an international fund, and the fund holds around $203 million. Over the trailing 12 months through mid-2026, FIDI has delivered a total return of over 31%. That performance reflects a broader market shift that has been building. Investors and analysts have increasingly noted a rotation into international dividend stocks as U.S. valuations have stretched and international markets have offered better income and value. Morningstar and U.S. News have both flagged FIDI as outperforming its foreign large value category in recent periods. In March of 2026, for example, when the average fund in its category dropped 7.3%, FIDI dropped only 4.6%. That kind of downside resilience is extremely meaningful over a long investment horizon. Sarah puts $2,000 into FIDI. At a 3.74% yield, she earns about $74 a year from this one position. That is the highest dividend income of any fund in her portfolio. Fund number 5, FDGFX, the Fidelity Dividend Growth Fund. Fund number 5 is different. It is the one that the income-focused investor might look at and raise an eyebrow, because the dividend yield is the lowest of the group, coming in at around 1.25%. But do not let that fool you. FDGFX is the engine in Sarah's portfolio. It is where the bulk of her long-term wealth creation is going to come from. Instead of just chasing the highest yield today, FDGFX buys companies that currently pay dividends or have a consistent history of paying dividends, and then applies fundamental analysis to identify the ones with the most durable earnings and the strongest ability to grow those dividends over time. The results speak for themselves. Over the past 5 years, FDGFX has returned 16.1% annualized. Over the past 3 years, it has averaged 27% annually, and in the trailing 12 months, depending on the data source, total returns have been in the range of 37 to 45%. Those are not dividend fund numbers. Those are growth fund numbers wrapped inside a dividend strategy. The expense ratio comes in at 0.88%, which is the highest of the 5 funds, but still well below what most actively managed funds charge. The top sectors include information technology, financials, consumer staples, healthcare, and industrials, giving the fund a broad economic footprint. The key insight here is that dividend growth is more powerful than dividend yield over time. A fund paying 1.25% today that grows its dividend by 10% a year will eventually pay far more than a fund that pays 4% today but never grows. FDGFX is the future income generator. It is planting seeds now that will pay off significantly later. Sarah puts $2,000 into FDGFX. She earns about $25 a year in dividends at the current yield. But this fund is not here for today's income. It is here to build the foundation of tomorrow's wealth. What happens to Sarah's $10,000 over time? Now let us get to the part everyone actually wants to see. Sarah has put $2,000 into each of the 5 funds. Her total portfolio is $10,000. She sets up automatic dividend reinvestment, so every dollar she earns gets put straight back into buying more shares. And then she waits. In year 1, across all 5 funds, Sarah earns approximately $234 in dividends. That works out to about $19.50 a month. On its own, that is not exciting. But here is where the math gets interesting. The 5 funds in Sarah's portfolio carry a blended average historical return of approximately 11 to 12% per year when you factor in total return across the group. For our projection, we are using a conservative 10% annualized return, which is close to the long-run historical average of the U.S. stock market and keeps our estimates grounded. At the end of year 10, Sarah's $10,000 have grown to approximately $25,900. Her annual dividend income has grown to roughly $612 a year, or $51 a month. She has more than doubled her money, and her passive income has nearly tripled. By year 20, the compounding effect is impossible to ignore. Sarah's portfolio is now worth approximately $67,000, generating over $1,500 a year in dividends, or $132 every single month. And she has not contributed a single additional dollar. At year 30, Sarah is 65 and thinking about retirement. Her original $10,000 investment, compounding at 10% annually with dividends reinvested, has grown to approximately $174,000. Her annual dividend income now stands at over $4,000 a year. That is more than $340 a month in passive income, collected without selling a single share, without clocking in anywhere, without doing anything at all. Compare that to the Sarah who left her $10,000 in a high-yield savings account. Even at today's relatively generous savings rates, that account might have grown to between $24,000 and $33,000. But the moment interest rates drop, and they historically always do, that income collapses. There is no growth engine behind it. There is no compounding of compounding. The reality check every investor needs to hear. Before you move any money, let us talk about what this analysis does not show you. Taxes matter. Dividends are taxable in a standard brokerage account. If you hold these funds inside a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, dividends grow tax-free or tax-deferred. That alone can add tens of thousands of dollars to your outcome over 30 years. If you have not maxed out a tax-advantaged account, that is step one. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The returns we looked at are historical. Markets go through long periods of underperformance. There will be years where your portfolio drops 20 or even 40%. The investors who succeed are the ones who stay invested through those drops and keep reinvesting dividends while prices are low. And finally, the expense ratios across these 5 funds range from 0.16% for FDVV up to 0.88% for FDGFX. Over 30 years, those fees compound against you. Always know what you are paying. None of this is a reason not to invest. It is a reason to invest thoughtfully, consistently, and with a clear understanding of what your money is doing and why. The bottom line. Let us bring it all back to the 5 funds. FDVV gives Sarah her core income and growth hybrid. FEQIX gives her stability, downside protection, and active management from one of Fidelity's best-rated fund teams. FSDIX gives her a multi-asset income engine that diversifies her income sources across stocks, preferred shares, REITs, and convertibles. FIDI gives her international dividend exposure with the highest current yield and strong recent performance. And FDGFX gives her a long-term growth engine built on dividend compounding that will likely be the biggest driver of her portfolio's total value 30 years from now. Together, these 5 funds cover income, growth, stability, international diversification, and dividend growth. That is a complete portfolio strategy inside 5 tickers. And for someone like Sarah, who just wants her money to work without her having to watch it every day, this is exactly the kind of set-it-and-monitor-it approach that has built real wealth for real people over real decades. The market is not going to wait for the perfect moment. It never does. The best time to start was always yesterday. The second best time is right now. Now, if you want to know what happens when you take the highest-yielding fund from today's list and compare it head-to-head against SCHD, one of the most popular dividend ETFs from a competing brokerage, hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.